Hello, good evening. Thank you for joining. I see some lovely people joining in. Thank you for coming tonight. I'm going to give a couple of minutes for everyone to join before we get started. Welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining. In a couple of minutes, we will get started. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. In a minute, we will get started. Thank you so much for joining our 5th webinar. We are truly grateful that you are all here tonight. Alrighty, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Before we dive in, let me play a wonderful video that we have so that you can get an overview of some of the things we talk about as your success coaches. Enjoy. Good evening, everyone. It is the season of gratitude, so I would just like to thank everyone for joining us tonight for our 5th webinar of our online success series. We will be talking about managing time and managing stress. My name is Joanna, and I am joined tonight by my colleague, Sarah. We are both success coaches here. Before we get started on our great presentation, I would like to just put forth some housekeeping rules to make sure that everything runs smoothly. This presentation is being recorded, so you will be receiving this into your student email so that you will have a copy, which this presentation has a lot of important contact information that you might want to keep for your records. As well, there is a Q&A function that you can utilize if you have questions throughout the presentation, and at the end we will be answering them to make sure that you walk away with your questions answered. In addition, there will also be a survey towards the end that we would like you to complete so that we know what future webinars we will be having to ensure that we're providing you with the information that's important to you. Without further ado, my name is Joanna, and I am a student success coach here. I support students in the psychology and the recreation and sports management programs.
And I'm Sarah Remis. I am also a success coach here, and I support computer and engineering students, as well as criminal justice and crime science.
Thank you, Sarah. And as your success coaches, our role is to be an added layer of support for you and make sure that you're getting the help that you need as a fully online student. We discuss things that are important for you as the individual student, and that's why we like to ask you questions, not to be nosy, but to genuinely get to know you a little bit better, genuine curiosity, get to know you as a whole person, because we know you're not just a student, you might be a parent, you might work full time. So we want to make sure we get every aspect of you to ensure that you're getting the proper help. We talk about many focus areas, as you can see here on the screen. And again, this is why we do get to know you on a personal level as well, to ensure holistically you are getting the information that's important for you at specific points in the semester. And now I'd like to turn it over to our student ambassador, Tekola, who will tell you a little bit more about her experiences here at FIU Online.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Tekola, your fully online FIU student ambassador, and I am so excited to be here. I major in psychology, and I'm excited to really dive into this topic tonight, managing time and stress, because honestly, I am a mom. And I'm also a homeschooling mom. So I had to really learn how to master this when it comes to my time and managing my stress, so I could be able to really do all the things that I do well. And honestly, I'm going to share a few things that I do personally in my own time. And honestly, the biggest thing, my phone is my biggest distraction. So I love to place my phone on do not disturb. That's early in the morning. When I wake up, I have it on do not disturb all the way up until about 12 p.m. And this really gives me time to really set my day, set my thoughts, get me ready, get me prepared, and really give me that alone time and to prepare for my day. And then I like to set time limits on social media on my phone, because sometimes I get caught up on Instagram Reels, TikToks. It takes a lot of my time. So I try to really make sure that I'm managing my time well. So I set time limits on my phone for that. So my phone automatically shuts off once it reached the time limit that I'm supposed to be on social media. And then I love to journal. I love to write out everything for my day. I love to really journal my thoughts and how I'm feeling for the day and different things I need to do, even regarding like homeschool, things with my son, and the assignments that I have to do for the week. All these things, I like to write them out and make sure I have them organized for my day and my week. And then I like to set up boundaries around my schedule. And to be honest, this was one of the hardest things for me. I had to learn how to say no. I had to learn how to not overextend myself to everyone else, and I'm not making time for myself. So by creating the boundaries, I make sure that I have time for my son. I make sure I have time to be with him with his schoolwork. And then I have to do the things I have to do for my schoolwork. So I couldn't do it without creating boundaries. So these are a few things I wanted to share with you guys tonight, what I like to do personally. And I'm going to pass it back to Joanna.
Thank you, Tekola, for sharing a little bit about what works for you as the individual student, especially with your son. Really appreciate that. And Tekola is our student ambassador, and she's been a fantastic addition to the team to get that student perspective. And we hope to see a lot of you decide to join as well, because we love to make sure that our students feel included. Thank you again, Tekola. And now let me tell you a little bit about our success coaches. As you can see, all of our success coaches have different programs that they support students in. And here on this screen, we have Eddie, Nahum, Janessa, and Jackie. And of course, Sarah and myself. And if you are part of the programs that you see in the last picture with Rory, sustainability in the environment, women's and gender studies, history, or those particular programs, make sure to reach out to that particular, to those contacts so that we can help you and guide you to where you need to go at olcoach@fiu.edu or calling us at 305-348-3125, option 4. And you'll see this information again a little bit later, but now I'd like to hand it over. And again, see, here is the information again, but again, this will be sent to you as a recording, so you will have a copy. But if you'd like to take a quick screenshot, you can also do that as well. Give you a couple of seconds. And now I'd like to hand it over to Sarah.
Thank you, Joanna. So as Joanna touched upon earlier, we are here to help you with anything under the sun outside of your program. That is still for your academic advisor, but these are some of the things that we help you with when we discuss time management. So the good thing about having a success coach is we can help you with a plan that is tailored specifically to you and your needs. So when we have that initial conversation, we'll touch upon what time of day you work best. Are you a morning person? Do you prefer to get things done at night? When is when you retain the most information? We'll also discuss scheduling and the different ways that scheduling might work best for you. Are you someone who's a physical person who prefers dry erase boards? Or do you prefer a digital calendar that you take with you? Do you prefer both? And we'll discuss tips and tricks for doing them efficiently as well. We'll also discuss accountability partners. Your success coaches can be that for you. If you're someone that, really wants to ensure that you get something done, we can always set that up. You can also use fellow schoolmates as accountability partners just to ensure that there is someone there who will ensure that both of you do what is necessary. And as Takola touched upon earlier, setting boundaries. That is something very important, which does tend to be difficult, but what's important to remember is that when you do set those boundaries, you have the time both for your school and personal life. And that's why we set those boundaries, to allow you to have both. And I will pass it back to Joanna to discuss a technique for prioritizing some of the tasks.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for that. And again, everything is something that you discuss as your success coaches as the individual student, and not everything will work for every student. So that's why we do ask you questions to ensure that we are getting you as the individual student holistically. And as Sarah mentioned, we do have a way for you to prioritize and a way for you to be able to look at a physical way of where you're spending your time, and that is called the Eisenhower matrix. And what this does is allow you to see where are you spending time that maybe you shouldn't be spending time on, or maybe where is it that you might need to spend more time on. And as you can see, there are 4 quadrants. In the top left, you have the important and urgent, which are things that need to be done today. So that could be a test that you have tomorrow that you have to study for, or a big paper that you need to have several drafts for to ensure that you have a great paper and you have a great grade at the end. On the top right, you have important and not urgent. So these are things that you can schedule, like exercise, meal planning, scheduling, things like that, tasks that you can do later that are important but don't necessarily need to be done right now. Then you have The lower left, which is delegate or urgent, not important. These are things that need to happen now, but are not necessarily things that are very important for you to do. So you can give it to other people, for example, if you work at a job where you can do that, or replying to certain emails that don't need to be answered today. And then the lower right is important, is not important, and not urgent. So these are things that are time wasters, things that you can eliminate from your day-to-day that cause you to wake up at 8 a.m. and then before you know it, it'll be 8 p.m. and you didn't get anything done. And as Tekola mentioned, that could be your phone, that could be scrolling through TikTok, that could be going through Instagram. So things that really aren't a priority or aren't important that you can do away with. And now I would like to stop this share so that we can do a Kahoot. If you are not familiar with Kahoots, this is a fun way to test your knowledge. And you can give me 1 second. And let me, right? So what you can do is go to kahoot.it and enter the game pin, which is 5633905, or you can take a picture of the QR code up here that can also get you into the game. So I'm going to give a couple of seconds for everyone to join. All right, and you can continue joining in as we start. Just for the sake of time, I know everybody's busy, but you can continue joining in as we get started as well. A first quiz. What does a success coach do? Awesome. I see a lot of people support students in 8 focus areas, checks in frequently, absolutely, provide study resources. I'm glad to see that nobody helps pick classes for the upcoming semester, because as your success coaches, we do work alongside with your academic advisor, and you do still have your academic advisor who is there to help you with picking classes, as well as answering any program specific questions that you might have. Awesome. Let's see the leaderboard. Bree, you are the first one. Awesome. Let's go to the next question. True or false? A success coach is also an academic advisor. All right. So yes, 27 people mentioned that a success coach is not an academic advisor. So that is false. Again, the academic advisor is there to help with program specific questions and to help you pick classes, especially now that we're in the spring enrollment season. So definitely speak with your academic advisor so that you know what classes you would need to take. Awesome. And Bree, you've been overtaken by Anna. Next quiz. What are some resources you can use to organize yourself? Down to the wire. All right. Yeah. So the time management matrix, a great way to prioritize yourself. A whiteboard, your phone, telling a friend as an accountability partner, like Sarah touched upon, a planner. I'm glad nobody put just wing it. Sometimes that never helps. So I'm glad nobody chose that. Awesome. And now open-ended. How do you balance work and personal life? Right. You just do. You don't, and that's very, thank you for the transparency. Sometimes you need somebody to help you find a way that works for you, right? As the individual student. Set a schedule and try to follow. Somebody's winging it. Again, speak with your success coach. We might be able to help you finding a way to balance both work and personal life. Absolutely. Use your phone and calendar, Google Calendar, daily schedule. Absolutely. Setting boundaries and prioritizing. Awesome, awesome. And now a poll to see what you would like to see in future webinars. A lot of people are interested in emotional intelligence. Next is semester success, learning about the ombudsperson and those resources, and Panther Den and university resources. Thank you so much, everyone, for answering and participating in the Kahoot. I really appreciate that, and I hope you learned a little bit and also enjoyed the Kahoot. So now I will be bringing it back to the presentation. If you could just give me a couple of minutes, make sure that we are right. All right. Something I love to tell my students, and I think it's something important to take away from this presentation along with everything else, is that you can't pour from an empty cup. And remember to refill your cup
before you start pouring the next day. So as we all touched upon, every day we are constantly using our resources, the limited resources that our brain has, our brain cup, if you will, and we're constantly pouring it out. And it's important to also give to ourselves back and do things that allow us to relax and de-stress at the end of the day. So something else we'll tell you as your success coach is, yes, plan your time that you're going to do your assignments, but also to plan the time to relax, to pick up that book that's been sitting on your table, to spend the time with your loved ones, to go outside and go for a walk and get some fresh air. So please also plan the fun. And now we'll pass it over to Melissa to have a further discussion about time management and stress.
Take it away, Melissa.
Thank you. So hi, everyone. Like previous said, my name is Melissa. I am a health educator with the Healthy Living Program, working with our health promotion services. So today I will be discussing time management, but also, of course, stress management, as it's usually heightened by poor or lack thereof of time management. So I'll touch a little bit of science to look for in terms of stress, but also healthy coping, as well as how to better your time management so you can minimize your stress. So first, we'll start out with the definition. Time management is the process of directing how much time is spent on certain activities. It's a very simple, small definition, but it's very complex. The topic is very complex. It's not as simple as it looks. So we'll continue. So good time management increases productivity and reduces stress. So some stress can actually be good. It helps motivate you, it pushes you, it helps you try new things, but also it can be negative, right? So it can hinder our well-being and also impact our health. Next slide. Perfect. So stress is a normal reaction that the body has in response to any changes that requires a response. So that can mean things like an increased workload, maybe a test on Friday, or juggling multiple tasks at one time. It can also be long-term or short-term, as well as poor time management creates stress and headaches. And we'll also kind of talk about other things, how stress can impact our body and well-being. So stress can affect us physically. So aches and pains, when your back kind of hurts, your neck kind of hurts, those are signs of stress. There's mentality issues, so memory issues or inability to concentrate, as well. It can affect you emotionally. So moodiness, irritability, feeling overwhelmed with everything that you have going on, as well as behaviorally. So changes in your appetite, changes in your sleep pattern. So how can we minimize stress? As well as one way is to practice self-care. I love self-care or mindfulness. It is used as a therapeutic technique. And a quote that I like to live by, we're all saying quotes today, but a quote that I like is, you have to nourish to flourish. So eating well, treating yourself to fun things and things that you enjoy is all good things that'll help you flourish. So that could mean meditating, journaling, yoga and exercise, mindful eating, taking walks, being in nature, talking about your feelings with someone. And also it doesn't have to be elaborate. It can be also as simple as taking a nap or watching your favorite show on Netflix. We'll proceed. Thank you. So what stops us usually from mindfulness? Fast-paced lifestyles, social media, TikTok is a huge one, entertainment, poor coping skills. And what's usually achieved through mindfulness is being able to react and respond to your stress. So whether that's increasing your time management skills and getting help with that, as well as improving your relationships and communication, as well as creating a greater sense of self and true desires, knowing what you want and your goals, as well as accepting yourself and others. Next slide. Perfect. So time management can help to reduce your stress. So that's the good news. So next slide. So how can we do that? We can break down goals into achievable tasks, give yourself some midpoints and able to get to those bigger tasks. So making smaller tasks can definitely help to get to your goals. Next slide. Saying no. This is something that you're going to hear a lot. I think we've all said it this evening. So saying no is definitely an initial process of setting boundaries. We've also said that. It can actually be a form of self-care. So saying no to people and projects that don't align with your goals or what you're doing in the moment, taking care of you, right? Next slide. So here we are talking about 8 key rules of time management. So the first one is forgive yourself for procrastinating in the past. So this is a part of positive talk, affirming and self-forgiveness, and being okay that, hey, I did procrastinate in the past, but this is thinking about the now and the future. Promise yourself a reward. So treating yourself. For me, I usually treat myself on a Friday, either giving myself lunch or even a crumble cookie for just making it through the week, a long week. Ask someone to check up on you. Peer pressure sometimes works. Just having that person kind of nudge you in your shoulder. Hey, did you study for the test, or did you practice your assignment? As well as act as you go. So this also helps with procrastination. So tackling tasks as soon as you get them and not leading them off or waiting to get to them later. Utilizing the 80-20 rule of the pyramidal principle. So 80% of the most important work can actually be done and completed in 20% of your available time. Utilizing new study skills, such as the Pomodoro technique, which is a technique that you can utilize 25 minutes, you study, you take a 5-minute break, you study for 25 minutes, you take a 5-minute break. Usually it's repeated about 4 times. And then you take a longer break, so an hour, do something that you enjoy, relieve your stress, and then go back to that topic. And you can also customize it as much as you like. as well as minimizing distractions, to turning off your phone or not looking at emails. There's actually an app that can help to minimize distractions. It'll lock your phone for you. Of course, you can still get into it, but it'll lock your phone for you. As well as a funny quote: aim to eat an elephant beetle first thing every day. So that just means getting the hardest task out of the way and not pushing it off to the last minute, because that also increases procrastination, as well as increases your stress because you're thinking about this task that you have to do that hasn't gotten done yet. We can proceed. Setting smart goals. So setting smart goals can help to make goals more attainable and give direction to your goals. So making things that are specific, that are measurable, achievable, relevant, that's going on right now, as well as time oriented. So when do you want to get this goal done? Is this something that could be done now? Next slide. Also, a digital planner. Again, we're all going to say this: a digital planner as well as a physical planner is great. I'm more of a physical planner type of person. I like the physical of scratching it off, but a digital planner is good too. You get notifications, you usually always have your phone on you, as well as hopefully if your phone is charged too, you always have it on you. A physical planner, you just have to ensure that you have it with you. And also something I would say with a daily planner is adding things that you enjoy, that you have planned, that are fun for you, so that it's not a dread when you look at it, and it increases your stress by looking at it. Putting that you have a basketball game to go to on Friday or brunch to go on Sunday, adding those fun things just so it's more of a realistic thing to look at. Slide. Yes. So next thing we want to do is develop a daily routine, especially being home. You're going to make sure you're doing a routine, getting up, changing your outfit, right? Finding a location, whether that's a desk, a table, things like that, just so your body kind of feels like, okay, it's work mode. But also being sure that you're also setting breaks and time limits, so that you're not just sitting at your desk or a table for long periods of time, for an extended period of time also. So setting those breaks and things like that. Side. Also, we want to work during your prime time. So that usually means hours that you have the most energy, you're the most productive, you're ready to get things done. So if you're a morning person, you're seizing the early hours of studying and doing assignments that require focus. But if you're an evening person, more of a night owl, working during the night, but also not sacrificing your sleep. You still want to get your sleep, but if you work better at night, just you can work at night, but just make sure you're getting your sleep in. Next slide. And then just a little bit about us as HLP. We're a part of the Student Health Services, our center. We believe in holistic and preventative approaches to health. We focus on the 9 dimensions of wellness. So not that you're sick, right, or have a flu, but that you have complete wellness, that you're completely well in order to be as successful as you can while you're here at FIU. We educate students on healthy practices. We also support students during behavioral changes. And the most important thing that I would say is that we are funded by the health fee. So these are things that are already paid from you. So we definitely recommend using our services as much as you can. Next slide. So our online services that we have health coaching or health consultations that are done by health educators like myself. We do time management, stress management, sexual health consultations, sleep hygiene, nicotine and tobacco cessation, as well as on the rare case, asthma and allergies. These are 45-minute one-on-one sessions, and we just come up with a plan on how to make you successful in whatever area that you're needing help with in that moment. We also have a dietitian as well as a nutrition coach in our office. Our dietitian deals with more diagnosed eating issues. So that's things like undereating, overeating, malnutrition, vegan diets, even lactose intolerance. We also have a nutrition educator or a nutrition coach who handles more general healthy eating practices, like making sure you're incorporating all of the food groups into your meals. And then we also have Reiki and energy healing, and that just helps to balance the energies through the body. It helps to minimize stress, and that's done through one of our massage therapists. And I think that is all. Thank you so much.
Sorry about that. There was a little bit of a technical malfunction, and that happens. We're very much getting used to technology every day, so thank you for your patience. So now we would like to answer any questions that anybody might have at this point. And I would like to answer some questions that did come in. A lot of great questions here. So it looks like a lot of these questions will be for Melissa. So Melissa, the first question is, I tend to procrastinate, get stressed that I procrastinate, but work really well under pressure. I don't know how to break the cycle. Where do I start?
Well, I would ask, how are you planning out your assignments? Are you doing more of a study practice of spacing out your studying? So meaning, are you doing maybe a little bit of the assignment here, a little bit of the assignment on the second day, and maybe a little bit on the third? That might help relieve some of the pressure. I know you like pressure, but it might help relieve some of the pressure, and then space out your practice of studying or assignments. Does that answer the question?
Thank you, Melissa. The next question is, what does a health consultation look like?
It's done. It can be either through Zoom or in our office. Through Zoom, it's just a 45-minute session where we come up with a tailored plan. Usually we leave each student with 3 goals, which we'll discuss in our follow-up sessions, where we discuss anything that there is an issue with. So we'll just hear what's going on, whether that's your time management, stress management. We just are trying to come up with a plan. It's very unique for each student. It's different. Maybe for one student, I'll sit down and completely reevaluate how they're planning their classes. We'll highlight, scratch out. For some, it's listening. It just depends on that student.
Awesome. Thank you, Melissa. And the last question so far I have, how do I make an appointment?
Perfect. So the best way to make an appointment is by calling our office. So 305-348-2040, just calling our office and saying you would like a consultation. She'll usually ask you which kind of consultation, and we just book it whenever you're available. And then we'll see you at the consultation. But yeah, definitely calling our office. We're open from 8:30 to 5. That's when our phone line's open.
Thank you so much, Melissa. I really appreciate it. So we do have 2 other questions about attendance and how students will get credit for attending. So we do have a running list of all students that do attend. And if you were the first 15, you will be receiving a welcome kit. So be on the lookout for that. But we do have a list of attendees. Thank you for your questions. A couple more minutes in case anybody else has any other questions. Okay, yes, Melissa, this is again for you. Is there a limit to how many times I can make an appointment or meet with a consultant?
I don't believe so. Usually it's a initial, so that's the 45-minute session, and then after that they're follow-up, so they're 30-minute sessions. But if you feel as though you need to make more consultations, feel free to make availability. So no limit.
Thank you, Melissa. All right. Are there any other questions that any student would like to have answered for tonight's webinar? Where will we find the presentation from tonight? Yes, so you will be emailed the recording of this presentation so that you do have a copy for yourself. But thank you for attending, really appreciate it. All righty, so now please take a moment to complete a survey that was left in the chat. It is to get more of an idea as to what you would like to see in future webinars. And I would like to thank you all again for coming to our 5th webinar. Thank you and have a great night. We will be hanging around a couple more minutes if you do have any other questions or just to make sure that you do have your questions answered. Thank you for coming. Okay, thank you for your question. You can email olcoach@fiu.edu to receive confirmation that you did come to the webinar. Thank you for your question. And thank you for attending, Alejandro. Yes, absolutely. olcoach@fiu.edu. It will be typed in chat so that you have it in writing so that you can have that email. Thank you. Thank you, Luca. And yes, if you would like to make sure that we do know where to how to enter your email, make sure to let us know that you attended the webinar with your Panther ID and your name so that we have that information and ensure that you get the credit for attending. And you as well. Thank you. Thank you everyone again for attending. I really appreciate you all being here tonight. And again, everything will be, the webinar will be sent to you to your student email as a recording. Thank you again. Good night.